Dagny, welcome to Halifax.
Thank you.
What do you think of Halifax?
So far, so good. I mean, to be honest, like I rolled in. There was a great scenery coming in with the car, and then I've pretty much seen the inside of the venue. But the venue feels good.
Do you even know if you've been to Halifax before?
No, I definitely haven't.
Okay.
That I know for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of the Peace Hall?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Very beautiful.
Yeah. Is there anywhere like it at home?
I don't know if there is. I'm from a tiny town called Tromsø in northern Norway, which is very, very different from anything we've seen in the last week. But I'll be on the lookout when I come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you have lived here, haven't you? You lived in Liverpool when you first moved over, right?
Oh wow, you've done your research. Yes, that's impressive. See, I lived in Liverpool for about 4 months in 2010. And then I moved back to London in 2012, and I lived there for 6 years.
Okay, but you're living back home in Norway now?
In Oslo.
Is that where you're happiest?
I think I'm happiest on the road, if I'm going to be honest.
Are you?
Yeah, it's just like, when you get to travel and meet so many great people, and you have this thing in common with the music, and feel very at home with the people we meet on the road, and it's like every day a new crowd, and it just... I feel like I feel most purpose when I'm on the road.
Do you think that comes from growing up in a musical household?
That it feels like familiar in a way.
Well, both your parents are musicians, right?
That's right.
So were you touring with them as a kid?
I think I heard that my first tour with them was when I was 3 months old.
Whoa.
Which is kind of insane to think about now.
Yeah.
And I think obviously growing up in a household like that, you get a very realistic view on what it is to be a musician. And with all the ups and downs, and there was always musicians coming through the house and sleeping on the couch and rehearsing in the living room. And so I do think that there's I feel at home in those kind of surroundings, I guess.
Were you always going to pursue a career in music?
No, not really. I was going to be I think there's something about when you're a kid, you dream about the stuff that feels very, so different from your reality. And I love music from a very young age, but I dreamt of becoming ballerina and an astronaut and archaeologist and football keeper. I had a lot of weird dreams. Yeah.
Really?
So really the music only came when I was about 15.
Are you a good footballer?
I was a good keeper, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I would have no skills to show off.
Is that you're tall? I mean, is that...
That's true.
Yeah, might have helped.
Might be that. Long arms, long limbs.
But it ended up being music.
Yeah.
Do you feel was it the path to where you are now that you expected?
You know what, actually, I think it was in a way because, as I said, I grew up with musician parents and they were jazz and bossa nova. And bossa nova in itself is kind of unusual to do in northern Norway. And so I think through them I saw, it's all hard work and step by step. And, there's a lot of things that goes on behind what you see, just there on the gig or here on the record. And I think for me, it's been one of those taking little steps and growing and feeling like things develop slowly but surely. Yeah.
You did pause for a while, didn't you? You stopped and went back to study. Why? Maybe I was doing so small steps that I feel like I wasn't going anywhere. Backward steps.
Yeah, almost backward steps. So I think I just got to a point where I felt I didn't know what to do with myself, and it just wasn't giving me as much. And I thought there's so many other amazing things out there that you also could be doing. At least I was open to the idea. So I decided to go back to school, and then last minute my dad was and I talked lots to my parents, and they were no, you should give it till you're at least 30. They just threw it out like that. And I thought, yeah, I'll stick it out for a little longer. And then about a month and a half after I released my first single, that kind of changed everything.
Tell me about how life did change when that came out.
Well, I just think it went from, because at that point I've been gigging for probably a decade, just doing little shows in pubs and all that stuff. And we put out Backbeat, which was the first single, and overnight it was just you know, first it was released on a Wednesday with Zane Lowe, who you know, premiered it on Apple Music, or like Radio 1, and then the next day, suddenly, like, lots of blogs were writing about it, and the next day after that, there was New Music Friday, and it was just everywhere. And so suddenly, you know, you would be getting in emails from, like, come to LA and, you know, play for a label, and come to New York, and suddenly we were just doing all these, like, crazy things.
Where did that song come from?
It actually was written in a tiny, like, garden shed in, like, my songwriter's parents' garden in Portsmouth, of all places.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was just this tiny room. We would just like get together, me and Sam McCarthy, who I wrote it with, and drink wine and just like make lots of weird songs, and Backbeat was one of them. And Backbeat was so different to all the stuff that I'd done up until that point. And, you know, in retrospect, having seen how, you know, there's all these trends in music and all these, you know, we had no idea about stuff like that. So when we put that out, it was just like a vibe, but I think maybe in a time it just felt very different compared to a lot of other stuff that was happening at that moment.
It's got a,
maybe that was it. I don't know.
It's got a brilliant, I'm going to call it a Scandi pop sound.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Has it?
Yeah, in a way it does, and I think there's something like very raw about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel very like polished. It just feels like a outburst of like melodies and words and. Yeah. The energy in that, I think, like captured people, yeah. And
that opened up a whole new world for you, as you've said.
Yeah.
And that wave, you're still riding it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, like, and that's the beauty of it. Like the road, you know, the road happens as we go, and the dreams, you get dreams as you go. Like, I always get this question: what's like your biggest dream? And it feels incredibly like unambitious to not have like one specific dream. But I think the dream is just to like. To be doing it in itself and every day, you know, being on tour, being in the studio, writing songs that you like and performing them. And I feel like just like super lucky that we get to do that. So it's kind of living the dream every day in a way.
Yeah. Are you most at home in the studio or on stage?
Oh, if I had to pick, maybe on the stage, I would say. It's just, I love writing, but I don't know if I would feel the same about writing if I wasn't able to like perform it. But then again, I wouldn't know how it's like to perform stuff that I haven't written either. So I think that like I kind of need them both.
I know we share a mutual love of Robin.
Oh, I love her.
I want to know, when are you going to do something with Robin?
I don't know. Can you just call her and say, I'm down whenever? I'll be there in a minute.
Yeah, you'd be up for that.
Yeah.
When did you first play with Sting?
Sting, actually, that was in 2012 in Impact Arena in Bangkok.
Right, so more than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Did you meet him then?
I did, and I showed him the picture the other day, and he was like, I don't recognize you. But to be fair, I had long black hair and glasses, and like, it's been 10 years to be fair, so. Yeah. But it was a fun picture to show him, yeah.
But the relationship stayed strong.
Yeah, I think, you know, I have to say, coming on this tour, there's such an he's amazing, and he's got really, really great bunch of people around him, and so we felt super welcomed, and it's just been a really great, I mean, I admire him a lot.
Well, I can't wait for tonight's show.
Thank you.
Have a great one.
Thank you.
And enjoy the Peace Hall.
Thank you. I will go out and explore a little bit now.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Dagny.